Hi, welcome back to Create, Share, Inspire podcast. This is our second attempt at the live stream this morning. The first pre-scheduled podcast did not go off the way I wanted it to. It froze. It kept freezing. It said I had no connection, and you know the drill. When that happens, I have to cancel that one out and start another one. So hopefully, if you are already subscribed to my channel or if you've signed up for notifications, hopefully you will be notified that I have moved over here. Yay, some people are showing up. Good morning, Grace. Hi, Petra. Yeah, I don't like it when it happens either, Petra. Hi, Wendy, because everything that I put in the description doesn't follow through. The thumbnail doesn't follow through. Hi, Carrie. Hi, Jackie. Hi, Jill. Lisa, Lily. Good morning, everybody. Thanks so much for your patience and your determination in finding me on the second stream. Hi, Joe. I'm glad you found me too. Thank you for taking the time to not only show up for the podcast, but thank you for taking the extra effort to find me on a second one. Hi, Kiranjeet and Amritha. Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. Hope everybody's having a great day so far. Hi, Christine. Hi, Melanie. Hopefully you had a great day yesterday, too. Haven't talked to you in about 24 hours or 23 hours. Let's see. I don't know how to share the new. I should see if I could try to find. Let me see if I can find. There's people over on the other one that can't find me. So give me a second. Let me see if I can copy the link to the new one. Copy link. Yes. 1 second here, let me, this is the new, there we go. All right, so I've shared the link on the old Frozen podcast, so hopefully everybody over there can make it over here now. Hi, Constance and Julie and Frayed Knot. Jackie. Jackie's working on the Tasha shawl in Be So Fine Ginger. That sounds gorgeous. Hi, Barbara. Hi, Judy. Hi, Sharon. We've got lots of fun things to show you today. If you're working on anything this morning, I know not only would I, but everybody in the community would like to hear what you're working on. I'm missing names. Hi, Joan and Judy, Chantel, Jane. Good morning. Where's my water? There it is. Hi, Mariana and Kim and Carly. Hi, Rita. Hi, Naomi. I'm glad you found me. Hopefully everybody got to see the link on the other one. All right, I'm going to open up the new link now here so I can find any comments that I've missed because they go so fast. Somebody wants to design a shawl. Well, that's wonderful. Good luck to you. I think that's great. Hi, Linda. Frayed Knot's trying to finalize her first written pattern. That's exciting. Hi, Lottie. Lily's working on Paloma top and something else, maybe Giada. That's great. I started seeing some finished Giada shawls in the Create, Share, Inspire group on Facebook this morning. They look fantastic. Somebody, I think Mao maybe, put beads along the lower edge, which is I think is an absolutely amazing idea, and I think it looked fantastic. What I'm currently working on is the Tunisian double crochet blanket in tripled Be So Baby yarn. So it's taking me about 12 minutes per row to make this, and it's taking me about a ball of yarn every 2 rows to make it in chain plying. And it's funny because yesterday I was like, oh, chain plying is so much better than holding 3 balls of yarn at one time to triple a yarn. You know what? There are pluses and minuses to everything, correct? And there are pluses and minuses to doing long rows of Tunisian crochet in both chain plying and holding 3 balls of yarn together. The plus side of chain plying is you don't have balls and threads to tangle up, right? You're only working on 1 ball at a time. But the positive of holding 3 balls at one time is 3 plies at one time is that you're not constantly making loops into loops. And I find that for a row this long in 9mm Tunisian crochet means that I have to pull a loop through I have to stop in the middle of a row and do that like 3 times, which for me kind of ruins my rhythm, or disrupts my rhythm rather, and I don't know, I can't decide which one is more pleasurable, so I wanted to make sure to point out to you that both versions would have their own pluses and minuses, and it would be up to you to decide which one seems more tolerable to you. Because when you're holding 3 balls at one time, as you're going back and forth in your rows, you're going to, the balls may tangle at some point, so you would have to adjust for that, probably not multiple times per row though. And in the chain plying, you'll come to the end of your loop and have to pull another loop a good 2 or 3 times per row. But having said that, I'm definitely getting used to it as well. I'm on my 3rd or 4th ball of yarn so far. This will be well over a 10 ball project, I think. And but I am just loving the way it looks. It looks like a slab of marble to me, which I think is going to be really great on my couch because I have a dark gray couch. And I thought a marble looking throw would be super cute on there. And I even thought about buying a white marble tray to put on my coffee table to kind of, I don't know, match the throw. I'll probably do a darker gray border on it with some sort of fringe, not cut fringe. We'll either do a crochet fringe or a twisted fringe, but I think I'll pick up on one of the darker grays in here, whether I went with charcoal or platinum. Probably not silver lavender. I'd probably go with platinum or charcoal, the medium or dark gray that I offer in Be So Baby yarn. I think either one of those would be super pretty for the fringe on the edge, but I definitely like this. Yep, you can also roll 3 balls of yarn together into 1 ball. Absolutely, you can do that too. This is Tunisian double crochet, and it is working up super quick. It's taking me about 12 minutes per row, which means, and it's, what have I got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, that's about right. This is just under 3 hours of work. So as far as blankets go, that's unbelievable, right? The fact that I got this much done in 3 hours is absolutely amazing. And, you know, yesterday I was saying, oh, maybe it'll be a 3-hour blanket. No, it's not. But you know what? It's not also one of those overly chunky things that looks kind of silly too. Sometimes quick isn't always the best. Sometimes I feel like you want something that's, okay, we want it a little bit thicker so it goes faster, but we don't want it so thick that it's not manageable or something that practical that you'd really want to use. This is still something that's not overly thick and not overly stiff. Look at all the beautiful drape it still has in it. Like, I feel like this might be the best of both worlds, where it is quick, but not going to be 3 hours quick, but it's also not going to be a stiff blob either. So I'm very, very happy with the way it's turned out so far. I'm just on my 4th ball right now, Petra. I'm guessing this is going to be somewhere in the 12 to 15 ball range, but don't quote me on that. I am not 100% sure yet, because obviously I haven't finished. I'm not even sure what my final dimensions are going to be. I may end up making it bigger than I said I was going to, since I'm going to keep it. But also I wanted to point out that yesterday someone asked me what are the differences between crochet hooks and Tunisian crochet hooks. Here's the example. If you're doing Tunisian crochet and you want to do a blanket and you want to have this many stitches on your crochet hook, you need a crochet hook that has a cable on the end of it with a stopper. This is a 9mm Tunisian cabled crochet hook, and you can find them in my Amazon shop, and Judy has already posted a link. It comes in a full set. It came in a full set of Tunisian hooks with cords on all of them. It's really a wonderful set. I love mine. Very easy to use, and it has these great cords on it that are soft and pliable, so they don't twist up on each other, on themselves. So like when I take this back off on the return row, I don't have this cord going all crazy. It kind of just relaxes and sits there until I pick up and put stitches back on it, which those of you that are knitters and like circular knitting needles, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. There are good cords and there are not so good cords. This is a good cord. All right, having said that, so that's my progress there. If I get back to it, I might try pulling off the return row while we're still talking this morning and show you the cord when it's not holding all those stitches. But in the meantime, I have something else pretty exciting to show all of you. We have new colors in a few different yarns. As you know, we have that amazing wait list option on my website now. And so when a color is out of stock, you can add your email address in, and then I have the ability to automatically notify you through my website when those colors come back in stock. So few things that I had noticed in there is that there were a bunch of people that had interest in some of the colors of Be So Tender yarn, which is my number 4 worsted weight cotton yarn that has a beautiful texture to it. And one of the colors that was requested a lot for waitlist was honey, which is this beautiful soft like oatmeal kind of a color. It's very, very pretty. And Be So Tender yarn is extremely soft, 100% cotton. And I thought it might be fun to, and the other color that's been requested to come back a lot is denim blue, which is, you know, a medium soft denim blue. So these two colors are back in stock, but then I thought it might be fun for summer to have some brighter colors. So we've got a buttercup and a bubblegum and an ice blue. Aren't they beautiful? These would make great cowls. I have hat patterns for Be So Tender yarn. I have cowl patterns. I have sweater patterns. I have beautiful shawl and wrap patterns in knitting and crochet. And this is number 4 worsted weight. Really beautiful. So they're pretty on their own, or you could do some color work together. This is ice blue, bubblegum. I love that pink. You know I love that pink. This is buttercup, which is a soft, warm yellow, which I think works with lots of skin tones. Not all yellows do. Denim blue. And honey. So that's Be So Tender yarn, new colors. Then I also have some new colors, actually not new colors in Be So Lush and Be So Bold yarn. I have yarns from the wait list. So yarns that people were really excited to see come back that had sold out quickly. So the restocked color in Be So Bold yarn, which is my number 4 worsted weight bamboo and cotton blend yarn that is buttery soft. This is colorway Blue Butterfly. We'll have more colors coming back in stock too, but this is the first one that is done because we did it in Be So Lush and Be So Bold yarn. This is Blue Butterfly. So let me show it to you next to Be So Lush yarn. Be So Lush and Be So Bold are the same fiber content. They're both a blend of cotton and bamboo yarn. This is the number 1 fingering weight version, and this is the number 4 worsted weight version. Be So Bold is number 4 worsted weight, and Be So Lush is number 1 fingering weight. So you could use any of my number 1 fingering weight yarn patterns for Be So Lush yarn, and you could use any of my number 4 worsted weight patterns for Be So Bold yarn. I've got lots of pattern choices in both of those weights, and all of my knitting patterns and crochet patterns are filtered by yarn weight now, so you can do that. Or you could do something super fun by combining weights in the same colorway. That might be fun too. So this is colorway Blue Butterfly in Be So Lush and Be So Bold yarn. And now I'll show you the rest of the colors that have come back in stock in Be So Lush yarn. This one was highly anticipated, probably the largest wait list of any color I've had on my website so far, was Autumn Sunset in Be So Lush yarn. This has some mulberry in it, some ginger, some gold, some topaz. It's absolutely stunning. The mulberry with the golds and the coppers is just so pretty. And obviously a lot of other people agree too. We've had a lot of people on the wait list for this one, so it'll probably go fast. But this is Be So Lush yarn in colorway Autumn Sunset. Then we've brought back Misty Memories and Coyote and Chocolate Truffles. All colors that were highly requested to bring back when they sold out very quickly last time. Chocolate Truffles has a really gorgeous variation of dark browns, dark to medium browns, and Coyote goes from silver to a charcoal with a little bit of lavender in the mix and some cream. Super pretty. So they're not new colors, they're restocked colors in Be So Lush yarn. Would be Chocolate Truffle, Coyote, Misty Memories, Blue Butterfly, and Autumn Sunset. So those are the restocked colors in Be So Lush yarn. Then one more restocked color in Be So Fine yarn is Mulberry. Be bringing that back in other yarns too. I know it's been highly requested. It's so beautiful. I love this color so much. So we've got a bunch of it in stock in Be So Fine yarn now, so you can get that. And then in Be So Sporty yarn, I have 2 restocked colors and 1 brand new color, which is a color that people have requested because it's been available in other yarns. So what was the name of the cotton yarn? I talked about 3 different cotton yarns, Dorothy. The first yarn I talked about was Be So Tender yarn, which is 100% cotton, number 4 worsted weight. Then I talked about a fingering weight cotton and bamboo blend yarn called Be So Lush, and I talked about a worsted weight, number 4 worsted weight cotton bamboo yarn called Be So Bold. Then I talked about a 100% bamboo yarn, number 1 fingering weight called Be So Fine. And now I'm going to show you 3 colors of Be So Sporty yarn, which is number 2 sport weight. So the 2 colors that were requested to come back in stock were Bahama Blue, so pretty. I almost made the Fernanda top in this color, but it sold out too quickly, and that's when I did Fern Forest instead. And Ballerina has been requested a bunch to come back in stock too. This sold out really quickly. This has some blush pink and some light lavender, some silver and cream. It is so pretty. I just picture making a butterfly wing shawl with this. It's so pretty. This is Be So Sporty yarn in colorway Ballerina. And the other one I showed was Bahama Blue. And then the 3rd color that I want to show you this morning in Be So Sporty yarn is Basil. Basil has been a new color in several other yarns so far, and people have been super excited about it, and it's sold out quickly every time we list it in other colors, and I know everybody's loved it. So we've brought it out in Be So Sporty yarn too. So you could make a beautiful top. You could do how many plies? I don't know how many plies off the top of my head, Susie. You're talking about English translation of sizes. If you look at the yardage versus the weight, you can get an idea, or you can go to one of the pages on my website where I have a chart that tells you the English, American English, Australian conversion for all of my yarns. There's a chart somewhere on there. That chart's on my Pinterest, and that chart's on my website as well. This is color Basil in Be So Sporty yarn. You could do any of the tops, any of the shawls, any of the projects in this color. And like we talked about before, greens are really wonderful for combining with bright tropical colors like flowers, because that's Mother Nature's color B, right? Mother Nature always combines greens with bright florals. So always keep in mind that if you're not sure what to add as a 2nd, 3rd, or 4th color to a bright color mix, you can always go with a green. And oh, I dropped a yarn. I forgot. The other color that's been sold out, that's been high on the wait list, is Be So Sporty yarn in colorway Sun-Kissed Yellow. So that one's back in stock too. So if you were already on the wait list, you've got an email about all of them. And if you have just been wanting them, they're back in stock. Yeah, they're all listed on my website, Vera. Anything that needed photos has new photos. Anything that is relisted, if the colors were similar, I kept the same photo. This particular batch of Ballerina came out a little more intense than the last one, so I did reshoot this one. But the Sun-Kissed Yellow and Bahama Blue I thought were very similar, so I didn't reshoot those. The Blue Butterfly looked very similar, but I reshot I obviously shot Basil because it was brand new, but everything is listed and everything is I don't know how to answer your question off the top of my head, Susie. If you want to email me after the show, I'd be more than happy to count those for you. Yeah, I think green's really on trend right now. I think a lot of greens are really on trend right now. Yes, yellow and green would be very pretty together. And case in point, plumeria tree, right? The plumeria tree behind me has yellow flowers and it has green leaves. I think they look wonderful together. Which yarn is the basil? This particular version of basil is on Be So Sporty yarn. Be So Sporty is my #2 sport weight yarn that is 100% bamboo, and it now comes in the super popular colorway basil. I know it sold out very quickly in Lush when we had it in Lush. And so I'm super excited to now be offering it in Sporty. And again, whenever you see a color that's sold out, please always feel welcome to add your email to the wait list. Anytime you share your email with me, whether it's for my mailing list or for the wait list, it doesn't go anywhere else. I don't even share it with the kiddies. Don't ever worry about your email going anywhere. It's my eyes only. It's just so I can communicate with you. I would never ever give it to anybody, share it with anybody. Everything's on secure servers. So don't ever feel uncomfortable sharing your email address with me. It's just a great way for me to communicate with you efficiently, to give you what you're wanting. That's all. Whether it's letting you know when new patterns come out, new videos come out, asking you for your opinion in a survey, or on the wait list letting you know when something you really want is back in stock, because the sooner you get the information, the more likely you are to be able to order it before it sells out again. So it's just a way to efficiently communicate with you, and like I said, it's 100% private. I would never do anything other than that. Because I know that's a good question. People ask all the time. I wonder as well, if I share my email address with you, I certainly want to know what you're going to do with it. So I know sometimes you think you want information from a company and you go, I don't know about that one, right? Well, I just want you to know that mine's safe. You're welcome, Lisa. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Sherry. No, the numbers are a U.S. system for determining, honestly, the most accurate way that is more universal from yarn to yarn, from country to country, is wraps per inch. And I believe that is on my website as well. But #1, #2, #3, #4 is a system that has been made by the by the Yarn Council of America. It is a standardized system in the United States for naming the weights of yarn. Obviously, when you talk about different fibers, that can change, but plies of yarn have nothing to do with that. You can have a yarn that has 1 ply, like a roving yarn, or you can have a yarn that has 10 plies, and it does not mean the same when you're talking about actual plies within the physical structure of the yarn. It has nothing to do with what they talk about in English terminology, saying that a yarn is 3 ply, 4 ply, 5 ply, or 8 ply. That actually means the same thing as our standardized, through the Yarn Council of America, standardized American terminology that says #1, #2, #3, #4, which corresponds with lace, fingering, sport, DK, and worsted weight. Those are our U.S. standardized terminology for yarn, and England and Australia do something different. I have charts that explain those differences and tell you what each one means, which is super convenient when you're trying to shop for yarns in other countries. Now, the easiest way to kind of get a gauge for all of this, no pun intended, is look at the yardage and the weight. Yardage means nothing without weight, right? But yeah, and now I understand Grace, and now she's saying how many actual plies are in it. I don't know. I mean, I need a magnifying glass to do it. I'm not going to do it right now. If she wants to email me after the show, I'd be more than happy to get that information to her. But what I'm trying to explain though is that if you're looking at a yarn and you're not sure what weight it is, or if the label doesn't say, oh, thanks Judy. Judy's posting that chart for people that want to see the conversion from UK to Australia to US. It's a very helpful chart that I spent many hours working on. I won't use a single ply yarn. Yes, I agree, Susie. Single ply yarns, that's what I was going to get to. Single ply yarn is like a roving. None of my yarns are single ply. They are multi-ply. I just can't tell you off the top of my head how many plies they are. But once you add plies to a yarn, you actually make it a lot stronger. So anytime you've seen something that is just a single ply of yarn, it's sometimes called roving. It is not very strong. It is only when you add multiple strands to a yarn that it does become stronger. Sometimes it has a better sheen as well. But every yarn's different, and some yarns are made up by actually knitting a chainette. There's all sorts of different techniques for making yarn. And my yarns are not one ply. I can't tell you off the top of my head how many they actually have. But going back to, what were we saying though? What were we saying? Sometimes it's hard to stay focused. You know, I see comments come up and questions come up, and I want to get to everybody, and but I don't remember where I was. I don't know. Anyway, I thought it was important and interesting, but apparently I got distracted. Hi, JC. Hi, Dave. Good morning. I try to answer everybody's questions. I hope it seems like I try the best I can. I can't get to everything. Oh, thank you, Marie. Yes, yardage versus ounces. So let's say you've got a yarn and you're not understanding what's been written on it. Either it's you don't understand the US terminology or the British or the Australian. If you can see yardage and weight, for example, okay, I've got a great example here. Be So Sporty yarn, Be So Fine yarn, and Be So Bold yarn are all 4 ounces each. Okay, let's get them in order. They're all 4 ounces, right? All 113 grams. So you might say, oh, they're all the same then. No, Be So Fine yarn has 650 yards per 4 ounces. Be So Sporty yarn has 325 yards per 4 ounces. And Be So Bold, I knew I was going to do this. I don't know, I think it's 240. If I'm wrong, somebody correct me. I think it's 240. Anyway, based on how thick a yarn is, meaning number 1 fingering weight, number 2 sport weight, number 4 worsted weight, they can be the same weight, 4 ounces, 4 ounces, 4 ounces, but because of the thickness of the yarn, there will be more or less yardage per ball. So when you're looking at the yardage and weight of a yarn, you can probably come pretty close to guessing. 247, thank you, Judy. So these are all the same number of ounces or grams, whether you're looking at, standard or metric. They all weigh the same amount, right? But this is 650 yards, 325 yards, and 247 yards because of how thick the actual strand of the yarn is. And if I show you up close, you can see how much thinner Be So Fine is than Be So Sporty, than Be So Bold. Isn't that interesting? And a terminology and an analogy that I've used before in different videos talking about this is buying a pound of spaghetti, right? You go to the grocery store and you buy a 1 pound box, which is about this big, of angel hair. You buy this 1 pound box of spaghetti, and you buy a 1 pound box of fettuccine. You bring all 3 boxes home, you open all 3 of them up, count how many strands of angel hair you have in there, and how many strands of spaghetti you have, and how many strands of fettuccine you have. You will have way more strands of angel hair pasta in a 1 pound box than you will fettuccine in a 1 pound box, because one is thinner and one is thicker. So you'll have more of it based on the same weight. Yes, Carla, if you bought yarn by the ounce and didn't pay attention to yardage, you will have absolutely run the risk of making a mistake. Yes, it is not just ounces or just yards, it is yards by the ounce. That's the way to figure out if you're going to have enough yardage or have the right gauge for the right hook or needle size. So think of it in terms of angel hair versus fettuccine. Both boxes weigh a pound, right? But the amount of strands inside, the amount of pieces inside are going to be very, very different because one is thinner and one is thicker. So same here. Be So Fine yarn would be the angel hair, and Be So Bold yarn would be the fettuccine. They're both, if these were both the 1 pound box, well, they're 4 ounces, a quarter pound. This is 650 yards per 247 yards, even though they both weigh the same identical. So it's the same amount of fiber, but this one is spun thinner and that one is spun thicker, just like angel hair is made thinner and fettuccine is made thicker. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense. Yeah, Rennie, spaghetti theory makes sense. Anytime you can make an analogy with something that's commonplace, I think it helps drive the point home better. You're welcome, Mariella. I've done videos on this. If you want to, Joe wants pasta. You know what I want? I'm following this page on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram now called Pasta Grannies, and they are these little Italian women. Don't even speak English, and their videos are not in English. But they show a woman. Every video is short, and it shows a little Italian woman making handmade pasta in her kitchen in Italy. No tools. They have a board and they have a rolling pin. No one's using a pasta machine, a hand crank. No one's using the KitchenAid attachment for rolling out pasta. They're rolling out pasta by hand with a giant rolling pin and making homemade pasta. And I have to tell you, when I was 17, 18, 19 years old, I was working at an Italian restaurant in Orlando, Florida, and the owner's mom, Domenica, who was this beautiful old woman from Italy, took me under her wing and taught me how to make old school Italian food. And one of the first things she taught me how to make was pasta by hand, and we did it old school style like that. And so it's been such a wonderful trip down memory lane for me, which is weird because I've never lived in Italy, to watch these women make it old-fashioned style. So I've been definitely in the mood for making homemade pasta recently. I haven't done it yet, but yeah, homemade pastas. Susie, it's your favorite too. Homemade, there's nothing like homemade pasta. Nothing, nothing. Grace saw them on YouTube. Yeah, I followed them I found them first on Facebook, but now I follow them everywhere just in case I miss an episode. Making homemade pasta is super fun. It is so good and it's so simple. Pasta Grannies. P-A-S-T-A, the next name is G-R-A-N-N-I-E-S. And most of it's not even in English. And they make unusual sauces to go with their pastas. Their pastas are cool shapes. They use weird things to make the shapes. But my favorite is just to make these huge sheets, roll them up, and then just cut into, long, like fettuccine, I guess. When I make pasta again, that's what I'll make. I'll just make a fettuccine. I think that's one of my favorites. Yeah, homemade ravioli would be amazing too, Kim. Absolutely. Yeah, I make homemade bread all the time now, so I feel like I'm not that far removed from making homemade pasta. So it's definitely on my list to add back into my routine. Does anybody have any other questions? Yeah, I love pasta too, Kiranji, but I especially love homemade pasta. It's so tender. Yeah, all in our spare time. I know, Joe. There's so many things to do, so little time. I want to make jam again too. I haven't made jam in a while. Joy's Be So Brave yarn is 100% wool and it's number 4 worsted weight. And I do have a lot of patterns for it. If you look them up by number 4 worsted weight in my crochet shop or knitting pattern shop, you can find the patterns there. It's 100% merino wool and not chemically treated like superwash, so you can felt with it too. I have patterns for felting with it also, including a great pattern for making dryer balls with it. Yeah, it would work fine for a knitted lace cowl, and I have a couple of really beautiful knit lace cowl patterns in my knitting shop for that yarn. What's on the mannequin behind me? I have the Kiara shawl up here, and I have the Sweet Clara dress. Whoops. Uh-oh. Is this falling? Oh, no, there we go. So we've got Sweet Clara dress here, and I have the Kiara knit shawl here too. This is in Be So Sporty yarn, and this is in Be So Fine Bling yarn. Okay, well, that looks really cute as a capelet too, doesn't it? Thank you all so much for taking time out of your busy day to spend a few minutes with me. Hold on a second, Pamela. No, I have no plans to go to any trade shows anytime soon. I don't feel like it's where my heart is right now. I would much rather work on a retreat for bringing people down here than go to any of the shows anymore. It's just where my heart is right now. I mean, anything's subject to change, but no, I don't have any plans of appearing at any trade shows next year. Thank you all so much for taking time out of your busy day to spend a few minutes with me. I hope you enjoyed all the show and tell and all the new colors of yarn, chatting with me and everyone else. Let us make time to create, share, and inspire today and every day. Have a wonderful day, everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place.